Alright guys, because there still seems to be a little bit of confusion for this. This is the third, fourth place match. The finals comes after this. It's the best of 7 with Parting versus Gumio. This particular series, though, is a $500 for the winner and $300 for the loser. It's, again, the third and fourth place match. Spawning here in the top left corner of the map, though, he's leading 1-0 in this series. It's going to be Samsung Galaxy's Red Zerg player, Solar.
Bottom right, as the blue Zerg gets Losira.
Alright, so Losira decides to go for a pool first, so does Solar. Kinda, nothing has really prompted, I think, paranoia or fear of aggression, but it is something you do have to be worried about in this matchup. So if you decide to, I don't know, play really greedy and Solar hits you with like a 10 pool, you're going to regret losing all that cash. But yeah, this game is this series is far from over. The series is really good, and I don't expect him to fall to Solar 2-0, but at the same time, it's absolutely possible. I mean, Solar, like I said before, his ZVZ's come a long way, and once upon a time, I think it was a little bit awkward to watch him play it, but it's definitely one of his better games nowadays.
Solar did, like, take that game pretty convincingly. There wasn't a whole lot of, like, oh, Losira, you know, killed 20 lings on a baneling, so, you know, them's the breaks. It was solid all around. Solar played correctly.
Holy crap, was that your cat?
Yeah.
That was really loud. What's going on over there?
Yeah, I tried to, like, get them to stop because I knew it was going to happen. I kept, like, throwing things at them.
Oh, are they fighting or
this
something?
will happen anyways. Yeah, Apollo beats up on people, or cats. Anywho.
Summer Grove's cats are quite mean, it would appear. Teach them to get along. My cats just, they mutually hate each other. They don't actually fight.
Apollo just thinks everyone wants to play, but cats don't want to. So
cats don't play. Dogs play. You need to get a dog.
Oh no, Pyro and Apollo are always battling each other.
Yo, I want a corgi so badly. Oh my god, I saw that video of like the corgi running through the snow tunnel.
Wait, did you get a molten corgi?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, of course. Duh. No, I don't like small dogs. Like corgis are cute and all that, but
you like cats, but you don't like small dogs. Like, explain
yeah, if you're gonna get a small dog, just get a cat. Jesus.
Fair enough. Okay. Well, a couple things to get up here from Losira. They're gonna scout the Solar Stick and no gases. So even though there's a pool opening, it's not that scary, I guess.
Don't know. Yeah, I was gonna bring up, you know, if Solar was gonna go for a Ling attack, this would definitely be a case where he could, because it's not necessarily you have to all in, so it's not like, well, you're up one game, all in. It's more like you're up one game, see, like, you know, test your strength, I guess, against your opponent, and then macro out of it. But as he didn't get gas, he's only just now getting it now. That would have been quite hard to do. So now I gotta talk about the fact that Losira, you know, he was the one that got that late third last game, so late. Very big possibility he gets the much faster third in this game.
Link gets squashed there pretty quickly. For Losira's sake, I mean, okay, last game you go to the Roach versus Roach. You take it to the max out versus max out. And again, like I kind of feel like so much of Solar's game that time, compositionally speaking, just, I wouldn't say directly countered what Losira did, it just ended up being better than what Losira had. I mean, their upgrades were even for so long, the Roach cams were a little bit out of whack, and that's where I think some of the game starts coming down. You max out, but you don't want to, you always want to keep that bubble of like 10 supply and make sure you can fit in Banelings or Zerglings or extra Hydras if you realize that's the case. But Losira just got his supply up really quick, and I think as a consequence gonna have that worse army is because of it.
Well, a faster third is what you get when you go speed most of the time. Unless Solar did something a little trickier than just doing the upgrade Roach slow third. So what's happening is that Solar, you know, he saw that third was going to go down, so he has kind of, you know, it's either like attack, try to do something, or expand on my own. The problem with expanding on his own is that Losira just, what he's doing right now, he makes 20 lings, and even if you have 5, even 10 roaches at that time, they would have to already be surrounding the hatch.
Yeah.
To stop her from dying.
So this is kind of interesting too. We didn't really talk about last game either, but I mean, like Losira, or we did talk about it, but Losira, you know, he had his third down way later than Solar's. This time, if you turn it around, maybe that's what he needs to get ahead, leading towards that late game. But again, I want to stress, like that last game, guys, that wasn't a race to max. That wasn't like why this won or lost, but this will be a nice little lead here for Losira here to start this game.
Yeah. There's always like, it's like almost like, you know, why bother trying to get the third if you know the speedlings are going to come, but there is a possibility that Losira does not use his speedlings. He actually just drones. So you could get away with it, but obviously Solar was well prepared to cancel it.
Well, still not trying to... Or he is going to try to retake it, but don't know if he'll be able to. Again, this amount of roaches is quite nice. Might be able to deal with the lings, but... Again, back to a wall. You want to not get surrounded fully. Try to keep that drone alive even.
Yeah. It's nice. He has to be wary about leaving a hole open, though.
Oh, almost gets back in time to plug it, but it's such a small handful of lings to get here. A drone pole should be able to deal with this. So he gets some queen damage, so... Gets a bit messy, almost loses a queen. She might still lose that queen. Barely loses that queen.
Yeah. Remember, behind this, you know, Losira is doing good work with his lings, but he stopped Solar from droning for a little bit, so just now Solar catching up. He's gotten his own upgrades, his own roaches, his own speed. Speed's a little bit later, but again, I don't think it's going to be a problem. It's just a lot... It feels like a much better game right now, but of course, in like a minute or so, I don't think it's really going to matter, or 2 minutes, I should say. It's going to be like, you know, back to the old Roach versus Roach. It's kind of like last game.
Yeah, but I mean, look at that income difference there. It's like 400 minerals a minute. Just and they've got similar drones. It's just spread out much better, much more efficiently here for Losira. So that third base is going to play out quite well. Before it wasn't a situation of maxing versus maxing. This time it might be.
Maybe. Like Losira could just skyrocket back up to 200, and Solar could be stuck at like 160 or something like that. It's very possible. But it's all about like, can Losira hit that? You know, called a timing. Okay, timing.
It's,
you know, like.
Well, I think it's just that let's not forget the defender's advantage is really hard to overcome, no matter what timing you hit.
Exactly. So that's why I'm not convinced that like, you know, he's actually going to lose the game because his third was so delayed. But it's definitely great for Losira for sure. And in fact, Losira not waiting for any specific supply count, like not 150, not 200, just like, well, I have speed and I have a lot of roaches. Let me try and do something with it.
These roaches are going to find so a little off guard because you have to deal with some of these lings here at the third. So his roach count not quite fully able to match that of his opponent's. Queen's going to help here a little bit. Reinforcements maybe, but as he deals with these lings, he's got to get these roaches into that fight. He's got to use that defender's advantage. Pulls them down. Nice concave here out of Solar, and looks like he will hold on. A couple of drones died. Nothing too insane though.
The start going up to 71 drones is a little shocking. Most CVZs, they actually hover around like 65. I think, as opposed to like, you know, like the 70 that you would that Losira has right now. But
yeah, it's not
going
TVZ.
for, yeah, exactly. So going for a Baneling nest looks like Losira is gonna go for the Baneling Roach style. Solar had not choosing his secondary tech yet.
Well, it kind of inadvertently does with Roach.
Yeah.
Burrow and Tunneling Claws. You can invest a little bit heavier into the roaches. Now, here's the thing about the Banelings. It's going to come into weird effect, guys. Like, okay, for Lucira's sake, he's going to be able to make a ton and give away a ton, essentially, as he throws them into the horde of roaches that Solar's going to have. But will that be enough to actually win him the game is going to be the big question. Because Solar's actually going to be able to heal up that damage. You know, normally you walk away from that roach fight, even if you win with very badly damaged roaches. You got like 13, 14 roaches at half health. They're no good for the follow-up remax. But this is a scenario where he'll be able to sneak attack while this is going on. He'll have some healing power. I don't know, these Banelings will be super game ending, but it is going to be a lot of damage, make no mistake. The upgrades also at a bit of a discrepancy right now. Solar's got a small window of opportunity where he might be able to use this to bully Losira a little bit. I don't think he can win the game by any means with this, but still a nice attack should go down.
Both just King Sejong always has a situation where you're always just fighting over these fourths right here. It's always gonna be so hard for the offender as they have to go up a ramp. But if Losira can just like bully his way through with the Banelings, that should be on their way out soon. He's maxing on nothing but roaches, so like where are the Banelings gonna come into play? Where are the lings?
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess right now he doesn't really want them. He doesn't quite have that speed. The tech wasn't there for it. And he's worried about how many roaches his opponent has. Realizing those big spikes on the back of the roaches have kind of revealed themselves too. Now he knows there's gonna be tunneling claws he has to worry about. Solar actually, okay, no, there's gonna be an overseer. I was gonna say, Losira didn't have the overseer with his army, so I was like, man, Solar might just burrow underneath all of this, but not gonna be the case. 2-1, 2-1 for upgrades for both players. 65 roaches versus 62. Positioning, I think, is gonna be influencing this fight more than anything else, of course. But Solar sees all these burrowed roaches as well. Actually, this is kind of a cool move. Nice on the rocks and perhaps fakes an attack towards that back rock. He doesn't want to risk Losira going for a counterattack, so comes back on with his roaches. The nuisance being that both players have pretty much full map vision. They know exactly where everything's going to be at all times.
Oh, so you're going for the cancel, I suppose, with all these spore crawlers going down for sure. Actually,
Yeah,
14,
oversupply.
15 spore crawlers. Yeah, that's all the lings too. Those are the banelings that he dedicated into.
So cool little trick there for those who don't know what just happened. When you build with a drone, you lose the supply because the drone becomes a building. You cancel it, you retain your drone count, but you also get a bigger army supply as a consequence. Each of these larvae, then one supply turns into 2 zerglings, which then turns into 2 banelings. And well, bombs your uncle. We're gonna have 44 banelings coming out behind us. Yikes! That's gonna hurt Solar quite a bit. He goes for the supply max too, and he's gonna be doing the same move. The difference is he doesn't have baneling speed,
and he's not prepared. You are not prepared. The lings are coming out right now. They're not quite banelings. Losira has a what?
Excuse you. This is the map of the Lich King, not Illidan.
Oh. I don't even know who I was quoting. I feel like such a fool. No.
The banelings came out this ramp. We're going to fight a lot of the roaches here clumped up. That concave. Solar was definitely not ready for this attack. Lots of damage goes down. The army is just leveled out almost immediately. 57 roaches over 29. There's no way Solar can hold this base. He burrows and tries to run away with some of the roaches, but oh my god, he's got to get these banelings to those front lines, and he doesn't have the speed that Losira did. Losira, in fact, is starting to split a little bit too. Solar can't quite get these connects. Loses a lot of banelings to some banelings of his opponents. And, well, the army supply reflects 44 roaches versus 43. Solar might just be able to bring this around. Defender's advantage, going to give him the production to actually hold this. Surround on top of the roaches. He's got 2-2 over 2-1. Is he really going to fend this off?
God, it's taking those banelings in the face. I thought he was going to lose for sure, but I guess he had a, good bank behind this. Losira does as well, so he's remaxing quickly.
Sneak attack of 5 roaches going to his opponent's main. He's going to kill a lot of drones. It's the trade-off. Solar lost his 3rd, but he didn't lose any drones for it. Losira keeps his 4th, or sorry, I meant to say 4th. Keeps his 4th, but he's going to lose some drones here. I mean, Solar's going to wait. There we go. His opponent's distracted. Oh, some roaches actually came back home. I don't know if he just predicted that or what.
He must have.
Oh, the spore crawler revealed it. That's why. Didn't even realize there's a spore crawler here for detection.
Did he forget to cancel that? Like, why else would you have a spore crawler?
Right, that's what I'm thinking. Like, this is such a weird spore crawler to have. But, anyways, we don't have banelings this time for the army, but it's 64 roaches for 63. Both players are like pretty heavy bank behind this. Again, this is something that can snowball really quickly if this goes poorly for one player, but Solar's actually investing in melee upgrades. I see the question mark. Like, I'm curious about this.
Yeah, I am too. You think at this point someone would have decided to go for Hive? They certainly have a bank, and yes, having a bank is important because you're going to want to remax after the fight. So it's not like have a bank, throw it on 5 hatcheries. No, not necessarily, but I still think Hive is a good commitment to make. I mean, sometimes we see these roach versus roach battles go on for a very long time, and it's the person that has like +3 weapons that barely ekes out the win.
I also want to comment too, it's not passive player silliness that's brought this here. It's not like both players trying to just play the longest game possible. You usually don't see this tango like that first engagement went down and both players recover. Like, that doesn't happen often. So it just speaks to the volumes at which these two are playing. Very high level ZVZ, but also at the same level. Not one player massively better than the other. 211 supply over 219. I hate that it goes red like it's supply blocked. I mean, that's technically true, but this anyways in the first place. But 50 banelings are coming out of Solar. This is no small amount of banelings. And this time he does have baneling speed, and +1 weapon certainly does complement the banelings.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, wow. Losira, I don't think was expecting this many banelings.
Oh, coming from the north side.
So many.
The problem is, like, while he's splitting away from this lets Solar beat out the roaches that are left behind that weren't split. So yes, Solar just threw away a lot of banelings, but he takes a big roach fight here, no problemo. Got to spread this out here on the top of the ramp, burrow for to run away. Actually, where's Solar's Overseer? Oh, it's covering the 4th, which does die yet again.
Yeah, he really wanted to save that. That's why he didn't give chase to the burrowed roaches.
Both players remaxing once again. No one's slacking on the larva. The difference is Solar's out of money. Losira's 4th base starting to come into play in a big way. He's got to be able to tear this down. He's got to be able to put Losira back on the point where he doesn't have this big income advantage. But I don't think that's going to happen. Solar's taking a fight that I don't think he can win. 57 roaches over 60, but this is still a situation where not everyone is consolidated. Not everyone's forces are here on the front line. This may start off okay for Solar, but it might end up poorly. Still, Losira with defender's advantage, and Losira with a lot of roaches here.
I don't think there's any way Losira loses this.
No,
it's not even like getting on top of production of Fort Terran. You know, the bank is so important for Losira. He's always gonna be able to max out. Yeah, he's gonna win. That's just the end of it. And Solar, that was a really great fight. You know, banelings, they get great hits, and suddenly you just absolutely squash your opponent.